It's time for Artist Direct on KDEC FM 100.5, your local connection to the music scene. Today's program is made possible by Holstrom Jewelers, Elm Street, Cresco.
Chances 1 in a million, but I still dream on to senseless addiction. Tell myself, maybe one day, and I wonder what you would say if you knew I was sitting here writing a song for you. And I see you now when I close my eyes, and I don't know why, but tell me now, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I wonder what you would say if you knew I was sitting here writing a song for you. And I see you now when I close my eyes, and I don't know why, but tell me now, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
It's Artist Direct here on FM 100.5, and we are very happy to have in studio with us today A girl music genius. She's like, oh, come on. Helen Johnson. Helen, you are 13 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And you are from Decorah?
Yep.
Okay, so 13 years old. At what point do you say, I'm going to pick up this amazingly good-looking blue guitar, and I'm going to start playing music?
Well, this wasn't my first guitar, but it would be 3 years ago this summer when I first started playing guitar.
And when was the first time you said to your folks, I really want to get a guitar? What made you feel like you wanted to do that?
Well, that summer before I first started, our cabin up north, we were rebuilding it because it had burned down, and so we were all up there, and there were a bunch of family friends, and one of them brought his guitar, and he showed me a couple chords, and so I came home and I got out my grandma's old guitar and started playing it. So I just started teaching myself the chords and just was hooked.
Much good music actually starts at the camp, right?
You taught yourself to play? At least the first few chords you taught yourself?
Yeah, I take lessons now, but the first chords that whole summer I was just looking at chord diagrams and just playing.
And how old were you at the time?
It would have been 3 years ago this summer, so 10.
Like 10 years old. I'm just trying to imagine little Helen Johnson, 10 years old, holding a big old guitar and working on chords. Because it's not easy to get your hand around the neck of a guitar.
And my grandma's old guitar, the first guitar I played on was a really old classical guitar. So the neck was really wide, and I couldn't reach my fingers all the way across.
When I was your age, I fancied myself that I wanted to play guitar, and that was my problem. I couldn't get my hand around the neck.
Yeah.
And so I gave up on it. And here I am, almost 40 years later, and I regret it ever since. and you taught yourself to play, and now you're writing songs and stuff. This is really cool.
Yeah, so the song we just heard is one you wrote, and what's the title of the song?
What Can I Do?
What Can I Do? So I have to imagine, because I remember being 13, and I had a lot of interest in life and angst about life, and the people that were around me, and stressors and crushes and all these things that were going on. Is it easy to write about those things? And is it easy to perform them once you've written them?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I can't just sit down and write a song when I'm like, ever I feel like it. Oh, I want to write a song right now. Something has to happen, or I don't know. But yeah, once I have something to write about, it's easy to write them, and then it is easy to perform them.
So do you have songs that you've written about, like being frustrated with your sisters or your
I do have one that's just about being frustrated in general, but I don't normally play it that often.
We're here with 13-year-old Helen Johnson from Decorah on Artist Direct FM 100.5. So when you're first playing, it's 10. You're 10 years old. I'm assuming you're playing covers at that time. You're just learning other people's music.
Right.
So who were some of the people you liked to learn songs from?
Taylor Swift.
That actually makes total sense.
Are her songs easy to play along to, easy to learn, and easy to play and sing?
Many of them are. Yeah. Not all of them, but a lot of them were, just simple 4-chord progressions, and I'm like, I'm going to play this song, and so that's kind of the first songs I was playing. Because
the one we just heard from you was not a simple little 4-chord. It was, first of all, it was in 3/4 time. And it had pauses and it had a lot of words to it, and I mean there was a lot of lyric to that song, and that's not the song that someone just off the street could come in and say, I think I'm going to sing one of Helen's songs, and I'll do this one. I mean,
she's a Decorah school student.
Yeah,
her music skills.
Not just anybody could sing that song.
Is it? Do you find when you're writing now, has it changed? Like, did you start with simple stuff and you're trying to make it?
Yes, definitely, exactly. My first songs, kind of all sounded the same. I didn't know very many chords, so a lot of them were 1 of 2 chord progression in keys, and they were all just strumming the whole time.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to learn more stuff and vary the introductions and the way I play them, and my guitar teachers helped me a lot with learning.
And who is your guitar teacher?
Michelle Lynn.
Yeah, there you go. Michelle's been up here more times than we can count. She and Jacob Grippin and Switchback, I think, have been holding the record for how many times. By the way, you're 13. You're starting off in good stead. If
you're
we
in
have
good
you back.
company.
If we have her back, we've got years to bring her back. So I'm sitting here thinking, the songs that you've been writing, the songs you've also been out performing them. Where have you had opportunities to perform?
Well, I have performed at T-Box. One time I played 3 songs, and then another time, not last February, but the year before, 2012, in February, I was a featured artist.
As a 12-year-old.
You're 12 years old and you're featured artist, so you're playing like a dozen songs at T-Box.
Yeah, I was 12, I think.
And at that time, some of them were your own?
Yeah. There were 3, I think, that I did were covers.
Wow, I'm having this moment. It was 2012. She was 12, and she did 12 songs. It was a good year for you.
Yeah. so you started out playing Taylor Swift songs.
You're right.
And certainly there's other people besides her whose songs you've chosen
been influenced
to play.
by.
At T-Box last year, when I was a featured artist, my covers were a Christina Perri song, which was one I did on the piano. The band Perry, one of their songs, I really like them. And then I think one was Taylor Swift, too.
Yeah.
And I've played lots of band Perry songs just for fun and stuff.
So who are your favorite artists to listen to now?
To listen to now? Well, that's hard because a lot of them. I still listen to Taylor Swift some. I like the band Perry a lot. Christina Perri.
Who would we be surprised to know that you like?
Well, okay, does it have to be an artist?
No.
Okay, the soundtrack from Les Mis.
There you go. That's a lot of artists.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say Britney Spears, and I was going to make a joke about her not being an artist.
You got a favorite song from that soundtrack that you've quietly sung to yourself or played in your bedroom or something?
From Les Mis?
Yeah.
I can't say I have a favorite song, but I have sung On My Own and I Dreamed a Dream.
Yes.
My voice teacher has a Les Mis book with the piano music and the songs in it that she's been loaning me.
I'm totally seeing myself in high school right now, because when I was in high school, that came out on Broadway, or, going into high school. And so every high school girl, you need to know, learned these songs for every audition we had to do ever. And so you'd get like 17 girls in a row auditioning for some part, and they're all like, I'm going to be doing I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis. But you could see the coach kind of going,
Well, those are some beautiful songs
They're
that
gorgeous.
if you sat there and just played them with a guitar, they would take on a
They're
totally different...
complicated, though.
Yeah.
They're very orchestrally written.
Yes, definitely.
You have to be a pretty good guitar player to pull that off.
I have a feeling she's going there. I have a feeling she can make it happen.
Well, are you setting things up? Are we going to be able to hear you anytime soon?
Yes, I'll be playing in Musica Dulce this summer.
Good. And they always come up here sometime during is that in June?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And that'll be a few different opportunities around Decorah to hear Helen play. Helen Johnson's with us on Artist Direct this morning on FM 100.5, presented by Holstrom's on Elm Street in downtown Cresco. So now that you're writing, and you have your favorite folks whose songs you like to play, but do you hear other people's music differently now than you did a few years ago since you started writing your own stuff? Do you listen? And
are you picking it apart like a scientist versus experiencing it with your heart?
With a critical ear?
Not that different. The first time I hear songs, or if I really like songs or I'm obsessed with them, I'm mostly just, listening for enjoyment. And then after a long time, if I'm like, it would be fun to play this song, then I might start listening more closely to the guitar or something.
That's good. You experience it first.
Yeah.
That's the way music should be anyway. Well, we're here with Helen Johnson, a 13-year-old student. Do you have any shout-outs to give out before we make you play again?
Hi to any people at school that are listening. I don't know if they are.
We won't tell. Shh.
Hi to my grandparents in Texas and all my family. And hi to Julie Merrick in Nashville, Tennessee.
Hi, Julie. We've had Julie up here, too. Are you going to go visit her at some point? Take your music down to Julie? I think that's a good idea. Julie, you should bring her down. Get her up at the Bluebird.
Speaking of blue, now you mentioned that that's not your first guitar, but it is
No.
a beautiful deep shade of blue.
Thank you.
Did you wish for a guitar of that color? Because you don't see guitars quite that pretty out and about very often.
Yes, I did actually. It was for my 12th birthday, and my parents, I had been playing on this old guitar that was hard to fit my hand around, that had nylon strings, and so my parents took me to Dave's guitar shop to get a guitar. And actually, in my mind, I'd be like, oh, my dream guitar would be blue. But I obviously didn't actually expect to get a guitar of that color. And I get up there, and here's this blue guitar just sitting there, and I'm like, oh, it's meant for me. So I got that one.
That's the way to do it.
And it's not just a blue guitar; it's a blue Fender.
Tim. Tim gets all excited. And it sounds beautiful.
Well,
and actually, we'd like to hear another song off of your guitar and from your beautiful voice, if you don't mind. What are you going to do for us before we exit out here?
The next song is called By the Way.
By the way. And is there anything behind the song we need to know?
Not particularly.
No? Good. All right.
We'll let it speak for itself.
We'll let it speak for itself. We've got Helen Johnson, again, 13-year-old Helen Johnson, who's over there in this Decorah School District on Artist Direct FM 100.5. You can see her this summer during Musica Dulce in Decorah. Good. Thanks, Helen.
And you might pop up again at open stage. You know, if they need an extra, if
she needs to just come out anyway.
Yeah, I know you've been the feature performer, and you've performed a couple songs here and there elsewhere, but we may see you there again sometime, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, it's Helen Johnson here on Artist Direct FM 100.5.
By the way, I saw you standing there today, by the way. By the way, everybody always talks about love at first sight, but hey, it was more like when I saw you, I knew I'd end up falling in love. A moment of silence before my heart explodes. This song will never be long enough to sing. All I want to say, if I could only see your face, and I will always be so far out of your league. But all I want to say is I love you. By the way, yesterday I watched you be an angel, and today I watch you fly away from me forever, and be so much closer to her. And I knew when I saw you that you'd be the one that I'd want to love. This moment of silence before my heart explodes. And this song will never be long enough to sing. All I want to say, if I could only see your face, and I will always be so far out of your league. But all I want to say is I love you. By the way, right now you're with me, but I know that won't last, and soon you'll be no more than a little flash of a memory of a dream I dreamed, that I'll keep with me when you leave. This life will never be long enough to see enough of your beautiful face, and I will never be the same. This song will never be long enough to sing. All I want to say, if If I could only see your face, and I will always be so far out of your league. But all I want to say is I love you. By the way,
thank you for listening to Artist Direct, presented by Holstrom Jewelers, Elm Street, Cresco. Catch Artist Direct again next week, right here on FM 100.5 KDEC.